So the today agenda is we are going to cover variables where we will see how to create a variables and truncate numbers, generate random numbers, and how to increment and decrement the variables. Then later on we will cover how to deal with list and data table. Okay. Then time permits, we will work on some use case as well. Okay. So this is the plan for today. I will quickly move to my PowerPoint desktop. Okay, I'm creating a new flow. Variables. Okay, fine. So on the left hand side, you can see the variable package, and in the inside the variable, you can see lot of options to create the variables and create data table variables, etc. And even list also appears here. So let's get into started. Like first, how to create variables. You can expand this variable package, and if you come down, you can see set variable action. Okay, you have to drag and drop into the workspace. Then you can see here it's automatically populated with the variable name called new var. Okay, so here I'm just changing the variable name from the default name to employee name. Okay, once entered, click on enter. Then you can see here now our variable named as employee name. Okay, so this is how you have to create a variable in Power Automate Desktop. And how you can give the value to this employee name. So if you want to assign the empty string to this, you have to use this double, I mean 2% symbol. Then you have to give the empty string. So this is how you can assign the empty value to any variables. Okay. So I assigned now. I click save. So now let's go back to the topic. I have created employee name and I assigned the empty string. Empty string. If you click run, you can see the value, the flow variables. Okay. Now we assign empty value. That is what it is showing empty here. Let's assign some value now. Okay. I will type the node and I will run now. You can see here I have a variable called employee name that holds the. Okay. Now let's try to explore some math as well. Maybe we will try to get the subject name in some display message, and we will also get some marks, subject one, subject two, subject three. Then we will see how to do the add operations and how to calculate the average, etc. Okay, so I will going to use display input diagram. Okay, I just drag and drop here. And here we keep it info enter subject one name. Okay, default value I'm not giving anything, and this is a single line. If you want get the uh, password text from the user, you can use password text, and if you're getting input in the multi-line, you can use something. For this use case, single line is fine. So if the user enters some value, it will be go and assign in the user input variable. Okay, so let's mark this as uh, subject one. Okay, now I save this. For now, I am disabling this first one. Okay, so how to disable the actions? Right click and use disable action. Okay, now if you run, it will show the pop-up where you have to enter the subject name. Okay, For example, I'm just typing this as English. Okay. Now I give the English. Now it is assigned to subject one. Okay. Similarly, I will drag and drop one more action, and I will keep this as a subject to enter subject to name subject to, and similarly for third as well, subject three as well. Okay. So how to copy the same action? You just copy this, Control C and Control V, you will get the one more actions. Okay. You don't need to configure the new one. You don't need to drag and drop again. You can just copy the actions, whatever you want to duplicate. Control C, Control. Okay. Now let's keep only the subject three for now. Okay. I'm just changing into enter the subject three name here. And I will, once the user enter the subject three name, I'm going to store in subject three variable. Okay. I click save and I'm going to run now. Okay, so first it will ask to enter the subject name one. I will type English. Then it is another pop-up to enter the subject two. I will give this as a max. One more pop-up for science. Okay. Now we enter the three different subject name and it got stored on subject one variable, subject two variable, subject three variable. Okay. Now similarly, we will get the marks for all the three subjects. Okay. Again, I'm going to use the same one, dialog input. So here I'm just change subject, enter subject, subject one, mark. Okay. Mark one. Similarly for subject 2 and 3, we will capture those marked there. Okay. Subject 3, and I'm just changing the variable name. Okay. So now we have total where is subject 1? Okay, now we created totally six input dialog where we are first three pop-up capturing our subject name. Change this by mistake. I keep this as subject name. Now I keep the subject three. Okay, subject one, subject two, subject three, and similarly for mark as well. I created total six variables with the input dialog. Okay, now let's capture the values. So English max science. Now we capture all the subject name, right? Now let's enter the mark for each subject. For subject one, mark is maybe I will give 80, and subject two is 70, and the subject three is 90. Okay. Now you can see here. Now we captured the subject names for three subjects and also the marks. Okay. Now if you want to show what is the subject name in dynamically, you can replace this with a variable, right? So we already having the subject name one in variable subject one, right? So I'm just removing it and I'm picking the variable subject one from the variable panel. Okay, I just subject one here and I'm picking the subject one variable here. So now after already we gave English, right? So when it will display to enter the mark, it will show enter English mark. Okay. So similarly, we will do the required changes for subject 2 and 3 also. subject to and subject. Okay, I will run now. So now it will show the subject name dynamically once you enter the subject names. So English, Maths, and Science. And you can see here now it is showing enter English mark. Okay, so this is how you have to bind your variables dynamically. Okay, so enter English mark. I will give 90, and now if you look at the another one, it will ask you to enter the max mark. Okay, 80 and science 95. Okay. Now we got the subject three subject name and on-site. Now let's do the math. Okay. Let's add this all three subject and we will display the mark in some message box. Okay. So how to do that? Let's go and use set variable. Let's give this as total marks. And let's take our variable values here. So this is hold our first mark, right? Subject first mark. So let's pick that and add. Let's pick the another one as well. Subject 2 and the subject 3. Okay. Now we are trying to do the addition of three these marks. Okay. I will click save. If you do in this way, it won't work. Okay. It will instead of adding, it will do the concatenation. Okay. I will show you. So I'm just again follow the process. English, Maths, Science. I will give some numbers 90, 89, and 78. Okay. The moment I click OK, right, then this eighth action set variable got executed. Then it will try to do the add operation only, but it will not work because it is doing concatenation instead of the actual addition operation. Okay. See here, this is the output we got from the total marks. 90 plus 89 plus 78. Okay. Then how to do that? Let's change the syntax. You have to keep only 1% in the front and the last one. Okay. In the between, you no need to use any percentage symbols. Okay. So let's remove that. Okay. If you remove this, then only it will consider for the math operations. Okay. Let's save now. I will execute again. Enter subject name English, Maths, Science. I will give some numbers also. Okay, now it got executed. See here again, instead of adding, it got concatenated all these numbers. Previously, binded with plus symbol. Now it is concatenated. Okay, so we have to convert the number from text to integer. Okay, so if you look at this, you see here the type is text value. Okay, and let's check for others also. Again, it is a considering this subject mark to as sorry, text value only. Okay. Similarly, you can see for third as well. So all it is considering as a text value. Okay. Now let's convert the text value into numbers. Then we will do the add the operation. Okay. So how to do that? You have to use convert text to So here you can see convert text to number. Okay. So let's change that. So already where we are storing the value from subject one mark, right? So let's change this. So subject one mark, I'm taking as an input. Then once it is converted, I want to store in the same variable, or you can produce a new variable. That up to us. Okay. So I don't want to create a, again, three more variables. So I will keep with the same variable. Okay. Once it is converted, I want to store the same value as numeric in same variable. Okay. So I'm just changing it. Similarly, we have to do for other tools as well. So I'm just copying and I will put it in the linking of this tool and one more variable for subject 3. Okay, let's change the number. Okay, now we converted all the text into numbers. Okay, now it will properly do the add operation. Let's try that. Which means so I'm giving list not as 85 and another is 90 and one more science is 94. Okay. Now you can see the now total we got is 270. See that data type now it is changed from text to numeric value. Okay. Similarly, you can see here maybe if we had some breakpoint, you come to know. I will add that. So this is how you have to add the breakpoint. Okay. I will show that also. I stop that. So if you want to stop, your flow in this step, you can click on, before the number, whatever you see the action was, right? Before that, if you click, your mouse, you can see some the red it's tagged with a particular name. Okay. You can see the red ball is tagged with a particular name. That means we are enabling breakpoint on the particular action. Okay. So I am just running now. English, max, science. So see here, I'm just entering the English name. Okay. 78. If you look at the subject mark on variable, see here, this is the text value. Okay. Before we converting, if you look at the data type, it is a text value. Okay. Now we are converting from text to number and we are storing the, the output in the same variable. That means subject mark one only. Okay. Now let's execute this sixth action. Now see the subject one subject mark one got converted from text to numeric. Okay, so this is how the conversion happening in the Power Automate desktop. Okay, clear? Because Rajeshwari Neha is clear to everyone. Okay. Now let's do the average calculation also. Okay, so I'm going to use another variable. And just drag and drop after the total marks. I'm keeping this at the average marks. Then total marks divided by 3. Okay. Now we will get the average mark in this variable. Finally, I want to show what is the total mark and average mark in the message box. Okay. So we have to use display message for that. Display message. I'm just drag and drop here. total marks and average marks. Total marks. Then I'm just picking the total marks variable from the variable map. So total marks, just giving enter, and this is the average marks. Okay, now let's run the flow. Which acts, finds, and we give something like this 89 for English and 83 for maths, and the science is 97. Okay. If you look at this, we got the display message. It shows our total marks is 269. Okay, and the average mark is 89.666 and 87. Okay, let's take this and let's put it in the some notepad so that we don't need to enter the subject name and marks and every time and to save some time. Let's do. Okay, so let's keep this. What I'm going to do, I disable all these actions, okay? Because it is time consuming if you execute everything again and again, okay? I disable all these actions. Now let's create two variable, maybe one variable is fine, okay? So let's keep this as a average mark, average marks. Okay, so far we've seen how to create a variable and how to store the data and how to convert, right? Now I will explain how to truncate the numbers. Okay, so now we have the value average mark 89.666. Okay, now I want to truncate the number. Okay, so I am going to use one more variable here, average mark truncate. Okay, then I will directly use this one. So truncate number, you can pick the average marks here. Okay, average marks. If you want to get only the integer part, okay, we have totally three options here: get integer, get decimal part, get round number. Okay, let's explore one by one. Let's use the first get integer part. Okay, so this is integer average integer number. Okay, let's average int value. And if you run this, you will get only the round figures. I mean, the 89. See here, we got only that integer part on the average marks. Okay. Similarly, we will explore the other stuff as well. So again, truncate average mark. Now let's change the operation from integer part to decimal part. Okay. Now it will return only the decimal part. So average decimal value. Okay, you can see here it returns only the decimal part. In case if you want to, change that operation to decimal to round numbers, we will get additional option. How many decimal place you want to keep it? Okay. For example, I want to keep 89.66. We can use 2. Okay. Or I want to keep 3 decimal places. We can keep 3. Okay. So let's change this also. I will keep average the value. Okay. Or maybe round value, average round value. Now, if you run this, it will show 89.667. Okay. Now you can see here. Now we got only the 3 decimal parts. Okay, so let's add one more variable here. Since you add this, uh, this is the success. So how to create a flag, right? Maybe true or false. So you have to create like this. You have to drag and drop the same variable, and you can keep your flag name like a success or failure, whatever. Then if you assign true, okay, let's see how it takes. Okay, I'm just trying to show you like even if you assign true or false, it is considered as a text. Okay, so by default, all the values it is considered as a text value, that is a string data type. Okay. Now, again, you want to convert that into, Boolean true or false, right? You have to add percentage. Okay. Previously, it shows text value. Now, let's run this. You can see here, now it's become the Boolean value. If you want, you can change. Okay. Now, it converted from text to Boolean. Got it? Okay. So, this is how the variable works. And if you ask me like how this generate the random numbers, right? For example, maybe I will drag and drop and show that. So if you want to generate the multiple numbers, you can use this. The minimum value from 10 to 10,000. I want to get any some random values, right? You can use these options. Okay. And also we have some other options. So generate the multiple numbers, how many numbers you want, 10. And if you want to avoid the duplicate, that also not. So we have, now it will return as a list. Okay. I will run this. See here, I mentioned totally 10 numbers, random numbers I want from 10 to 10,000. Okay. If you look at this, now we got total 10 random numbers from 10 to 10,000. Okay. So this is how the generate random numbers in the Power Automate desktop. And let's explore how to increment and decrement as well. Okay. I will create a new flow to avoid any confusion. Increment flow. Okay. So this is how we have to create a subflow. I'm going to use this as some loop. Okay, loop index. Loop index usually starts from 0 or 1. Okay. Now for our case, let's keep, if we start from, assume, let's start from 0. Okay. Now I want to increment this value. Okay. I can use increase variable, and you can pick your loop index, and also you can mention increase by how many numbers, by 1 or 2, etc. Okay. So I will give 1 now. Okay. I will run the flow. So loop index is 0, and when I use increase variable action, it is increment by 1. Okay. If I use 2 here, it will increment by 2. So initially we have loop index equal to 0, and it is increased by 2. Okay. So the same way decrease also works. Okay. So I will take the same variable loop index. We already increased by 2, right? I want to decrease by 1. So, which means by default it is 0. Then it will increment by 2. Then it decrement by 1. Finally, the loop value index shows 1. Okay, let's check that. Okay, now loop index equal to 0. and it is incremented by 2 and decremented by 1. And final is 1. Okay. This is the one way of doing the increment and decrement. So other way is you can use a set variable, same variable again. You can copy paste and you can take the same variable and add the percentage symbol, and you can add plus symbol and what are the number you want to increment by, right? For some number you can mention here. For example, I want to increment the loop index by 1, then I will mention 1 here. Okay. So let's run this. So by default 0 and incremented by 1. Okay. So I will show one more example for increment. So again, it will start from 0 and ends with 10, increment by 1. Okay. Then this is loop index value. Let's use display message box to understand what value you are getting on the loop index during the loop execution. Okay. I'm using the display message box here. Let's keep this as an info loop index value. We'll take our variable loop index value. Okay. So it will start from 0 to 10 and it will increment by 1, and each and every time it will show the display message box. Okay. I will run the flow. So loop index value 0. I will remove the breakpoint. 1, 2. See, this keep iterating and it is incrementing the loop index value. So it will go till the 10th. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally, so it reaches the moment when it reaches 10, it will execute from this loop. Okay. See, it came out in the loop. So there are multiple ways to increment the value. So that we all are exploring. Okay. So far clear. So I will create one more subflow as list. Okay, we'll explore how to use a list now. Okay, I gave some example in the PPT. You can take a look after this session. Maybe it will give kind of some example to understand on what scenario we have to use such actions. For example, create a new list. Maybe you can just assume you are at railway station and you can create a first list to store here ticket ID for the passengers who checked in at the stations, right? You can keep adding over checking into the station. You can keep adding the ticket ID in the create new list, right? So maybe let's create a new list here. You can just drag and drop. I will give this as a ticket ID. Okay, I created a list now. Okay, and if you want to add any ticket into the bucket, how to do that? You have to use add item to the list. Okay. So add to item. Ticket 01 into what is your list name? Okay, let's run this. You can see here now ticket ID is the list. It's a container of text values. The 0th index we inserted take ticket 1001. Okay. So likewise, you can keep add all your tickets into the list. So I will give this as a 1002, 103. And I intentionally added the same ticket here. Based on that, we will export some other actions. Okay. So you can run the flow. And if you look at this, we stop and run on run from here. Initially, it will create a empty list. So this is how it looks like only when you create a new list. Okay. So then when the moment you started pushing, right, it will keep adding your item into your bucket, okay, list. So see here, now it is inserted in the zeroth index. Okay. So likewise, it will keep adding for first index, second index, third index, it will keep adding the ticket IDs. So it got inserted in the index number 1 and index number 2 and index number 3. So this is how finally it look like. You can see here ticket 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We are seeing some duplicate here. So how to remove that? You can use remove item. Let's check that. The options is there. Remove duplicate item from the list. Okay. We can use our listing as ticket ID. Now, how many items we have on the list? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. With one duplicate, right? See now the duplicate value got removed from the list right now. Okay, after we using remove duplicate item from the list. Okay, so this is how create add item to the list, remove duplicate item from list works. Maybe if you want to do the shuffle, right, that also we can do. So shuffle, once it is removed, then we can do the shuffle. Uh, it will resort the list based on, I mean, randomly it will shuffle the overall items. And later on, if you want to do the sorting, that also we can do. And what else? Reverse, right? Once we are sorted, we can do the reverse of the list also. Okay, let's assume we are in the railway station and people are keep checking in. Okay, there's some station, and first the guy who get into the station is ticket having the holding the ticket 1001. Okay, and the second guy is having 1002, and the same guy who checked in before he went out again. He comes in into the station for another round of checking. Okay, then this is the third guy. So if you look at that, we have 4 check-ins, but if you remove the duplicate, we have only 3 unique check-in. We have 3 passengers. Okay. Then randomly, if you want to shuffle, we can shuffle, and sort the list also we can do. And maybe I will run the flow. Then I will explain you the scenario how it works. So now we removed it. And if you look at the tickets, now it's on the order 1001, 1002, 1003. And now we'll do the shuffle. Now it is randomly sorted 1002, 1002. So 103, 2, 1. But somehow it is sorted actually. But now it is do the proper sorting. You can see here ticket 1001, 2, 3. So you can just assume this is the guy who checked in the first and second and third. Okay. Now I want to understand who checked in last, right? Now we can apply the reverse list. If we apply the reverse list, now we come to know who checked in the last, right? So this is the guy who check in the station at last for ticket 1003. So this is how you have to relate all this action when you creating your bots. Okay. And clear list is something to clear the entire list. It becomes empty. I will show that also. So once it is sorted, you can see here, this is how it is sorted, the output of the sorted reverse list. And we are clearing it. You can see here, now it becomes empty. Okay. Now we explored how to create a list, add item to list, and reverse, merge, shuffle, sort, remove item list. Maybe we will export this also. So far clear, right? Whatever we covered in the list, is it able to understand or what? I will disable all these actions. Okay, I will change this name into A. Bucket A. Okay, or just explain the another scenario. And we are creating a one more list as a bucket B. Now let's add item into bucket A. Um, one. Change your bucket name, bucket A. Okay, so similarly, we can add few more values into the list. I'm doing all this to explain some other actions. Okay. Now we will add some more items in bucket B. So in bucket A, I mean list A, we have the items 1, 2, 3. In the list 2, we are having 1, 2, and I will intentionally change this into 4. I'm not having 3 here. Okay. Now let's use this one. Okay. Find common list items. You can take the first list. I mean, that is a bucket A. This bucket B. So it will just return the intersection list. What is the common for the both list? Okay. Let's run from here. So you can see here. So this is the common between list A and B. Okay. So this is how it works. And if you want to do the subtract between these two lists, you utilize this one. Remove duplicates from the list that we already explored. And if you want to remove the item from list, you can drag and drop, and you can mention the index or value. So it will work on both ways. So for example, I want to remove the value 2 from my bucket, list A. So I can use like this. If I execute in this way, it may show error, I guess, because we don't have the 2 in this moment, right? But let's try to run that. So till this line 2, we have only one item, that is 1 in the bucket A. but we are trying to remove the item 2 in the bucket A. So it may throw that error because we don't have that value. Okay, so what we will do, we will change this. I mean, we will push this action before that. And we now have the 2 in the bucket A, and we will try to remove them. Okay. Okay. Now you can see bucket A having only one value. Okay, we remove the second item. Okay, so this is how it works in bad all the list. Okay, so we have another 30 minutes, so let's don't waste time. We'll get onto the data table. Before that, I quickly cover the JSON object as well. Okay. I have some JSON value and I will liberate that. Okay, so let's see how to use JSON value, and we can see how to convert that as a custom object. Okay, I will create one more flow JSON. So maybe we'll get the JSON response from some of the SPP call or maybe OneDrive, SharePoint, right? So those times we have to deal with the JSON values. Okay. So I'm going to use some JSON, create some JSON value here. JSON value. This is some sales information. It contains sales data and the region, salesperson, product, quantity, unit price, notes. Okay. This is how it looks like. And if you want to convert from JSON to custom object, you can drag and drop, and you can pass the JSON value here. JSON value. Now it will give you kind of dictionary format or maybe the table format. Okay. This is easy to iterate actually. You can see here now it is converted. This is our JSON value. And after it is converted, you can see here that now becomes a dictionary. Okay, name value, sales data, region, salesperson, product, quantity, etc. From here you can easily iterate that. Okay, so this is how you can do that. And reverse, you can do the conversion from custom object to JSON. It will again convert from the custom object to JSON value like this. Inflow data table. Okay, you can create a data table from scratch. You can drag and drop here, or you can get a data table from CSV, SQL, or Excel files. If you want to create from scratch, you can drag and drop, and you can keep add your names like column names like this. Okay, so subject name, marks. Maybe I will add one more student name. Student name, subject name. Maybe let's keep this English marks, max, and science max. Okay. So you can create an empty table like this. Once you created that, it will comes with one empty row. Okay. So this is how the current listener we have in Power Automate. You can't delete that empty row. Since it is have the same empty row, you can use this option. Delete empty row from the data. Okay, this is the best practice. Once you create it, just remove that empty row. Okay. So this is our data table. I'm picking that, and now let's try to insert the row into the data table. Yeah. So I will just drag and drop data table. That is the table we have created here, and this is how you have to follow the syntax. With the double go, there is no percentage. You have to open the square bracket, and you can give the any values here. Okay, so now I'm giving the here and some marks. Okay, so 67, 87. Let's see whether it works. Okay, if you look at this, Dino is a string and the remaining is numerical. Okay, so let's run this now. So as I mentioned, you can see here it comes with only empty row. Okay, now after we adding the delete empty rows from data table, it will remove that particular. Now it becomes 0. Okay, now we can start inserting our rows. See here, now it is inserted our row. The student name is Dino and some of the marks. Okay, so likewise we can add some more student and marks also. I will change this to because and change some marks also. And we have and one more we will add for auditions. Okay, now we have 4 students and we have the subjects as well. Now, what we will do, we will add one more column, okay, the data table. Insert column into data table. Data table, let's pick our data table. And what is the new column name? Total marks. Okay, now let's see how this looks like. So we have 4 students and you can see their marks. And now we are trying to add one more column, total marks in the last. Okay. So after executing the 7th action, you can see here, now it becomes 5 columns. Previously it shows 4 columns. Now it turns into 5 columns. So total marks. Okay. Now we can do other operation. I think for now, what we will do, we will update the data table item. Okay, once you can drag and drop this, you can pick the data table. Column is total marks. Row is in 0. I will keep here, and the new value is I'm just keeping some numbers for just for your understanding how that works. Okay, so I will keep this as 250 is the total mark. You can see here now we have the 0th index. Okay, now we inserted total marks, but it is looks blank. So I'm trying to update this data table with the total marks 250 for Din. See here, so I updated that. Okay, let's do that through proper logic. Okay, now we have the data table. I will disable this. Once we have the data table, you have want if you want to do the manipulation, right? So we can use for each. And drag and drop, and you can pick your data table. And you can see here, it shows each and every row in this variable. Okay, you can consider this as a data row or row values for easy understanding. Row values. Okay, now we created data table, removed the empty rows, and we inserted for student name with marks, and we added one more column with the total marks, right? Now we will read all the marks, then we will do the proper math, then we will update back to the total marks column. Okay, so this is the overall ideology. Okay, let's see how that row values looks like. Okay, so I just drag and drop here, and I will show you each and every iteration how that row value looks like. You can take row values here. Let's run this flow. Okay, so you can see here, this is how it looks like. So it is taking the first row value. Okay, we have, five columns. The fifth column, we have the blank values, the total marks, because we disabled that update data column, right? So now we are having the first row, zeroth row as per the data table, and it is written what are the value we have in the particular row. Okay, the first row, the most dates on exam, that is amount and student name. So similarly, it will written for all other students as well. So each and every iteration. So once it is written, then it will go in and it will again reloop and it will show the another student. Okay. So this is how the for each loop works in the for. You can see here, we will get one more display message. It shows because data values. So likewise, it will give all student values. Okay. I will remove this and I will quickly show the values. This is for Neha. This is for Rajeshwari. Once that is done, it will move away from this loop. Okay. Now it will come out. Yeah. So this is how the for each loop works. Okay. Now I want to store the total marks, right? So let's take a variable. Let's keep this as an English mark. And how to read the values from data rows? You can use index or you can mention the column name also. Both ways you can read. Okay, so data rows, you can mention the column name also or index of the column. Okay, for now I'm just giving the index value. So let's verify that where we have the English marks. Okay, so this is the data table. This is the zeroth index 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's take this as a first index, right? So we mentioned first index only. Let's see whether it works or not. Similarly, I will show the another syntax also. So you can mention, let's take a copy of English marks, right? English marks. You can mention the single quotes English marks. So I'm creating a two variable just for our understanding only how it works. Okay. So what value we are getting? 78. Okay, let's verify that. See here, we have the English mark 78. That is what it is showing. English mark equal to 78. Similar way, this is we are reading based on the index value. Okay, so this is the again I will show. This is 0th index, 1, 2, 3. So this is how you have to count. And also, if you think about the rows index, that also starts from 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we are reading this column based on the index value 1. So we are successfully able to read that and we store that particular value in English mark variable, right? Now let's see the another syntax. You can see here, this also we can able to read this another way. So see here, here I mentioned the column name, okay, with the square bracket with the single quotes. So both are, I mean, in the both way you can able to read from the data row, okay. So this is how you have to read the values, okay. Now let's keep this as a English mark. And I will similarly create two more variables for another two subjects. Okay, so English, maths, marks, and here I'm just mentioning the index value 2. And here let's change this into 3, science, marks. Okay, now we got 3 marks in variable. So we are doing this operation for each and every row. So that is what we are using the for each row. Okay. Now let's verify once we are assigned the value to this variables, right? Whether it is in the by numeric format or text format. Okay, if it is the text format, what we need to do, we have to convert from text to numeric. Okay, let's check that, then we will use the convert actions. Okay, so you can see here we have the English mark here. It looks like numeric value, max mark numeric value, science mark numeric value. So which means we no need to convert that value into what? Numeric, because it's already the numeric value. So I will add one more variable. Let's keep that as total marks and we will do the math. Okay. So English mark plus English mark max marks plus science marks. Okay. Now, after we add all this marks, then we are going to store back to total marks. Okay. Now we done that math. How to update? We have to use this again. We'll drag and drop this. Previously, we hard coded the row index, right? Now you can, think of how to do the increment, decrement, whatever we explored, right? That we have to use now. Okay. So see here, I'm going to use a index now. So the index is start from 0 because the row is start from 0 only, right? So row index 0. Okay. Then first, what are the value we are reading here? That is presence on the data row 0, right? So once we done the math operation, we want to update our total marks to the same row. I mean the 0th index. So here, instead of hard coding, we will erase the index value which we created now. That is a row index, right? So row index and value we already calculated that now we having in the total marks value. Okay. Now you can see here, now it is automatically looping your data table to the math operation. it will update back to the data table item. Okay. So the set variable row index equal to 0, we placed before the for each index. Okay. So each and every time, even the for each loops, every time it will update to the 0th index only. I will show you. Okay, you can see the total marks 232. Now it looks empty. Okay. For they know it shows empty. It will try to update into the data table. I mean, the main data table. It's empty right now. Okay, now it will update. You can see here. Now it is separate with the action value. 232, right? But it is updating on row index equal to 0. Okay, we are not changed for the next iteration. That means for now, this is fine. If you look at the another iteration, again, it will do the actual cal. That is fine. It is calculated correctly only. 274. I want to update this to my first index values, right? First index row, because not within. See here, 232. If I execute this, it will replace with the 232 into 274. I know what I don't want to do that. Okay. So we have to increment the row index also. So what we will do, we will copy this and we can, after updating the data table item, we have to use this. Okay. And you can copy and we can increment like this also. Or other way also we see the increment variable. So in that way also you can do. So which means first it will read the values from 0 to and it will update for the for the next row. Automatically it will increment the row index into 1. Then again it will do the math and it will update to the row index 1. Again for another next item, it will automatically keep incrementing the row index. Okay, let's check that. So 232. Now it should update for the because not within. To 74. So likewise, it will keep updating our table and update our total marks. See here, this is our final table. It comes with the total marks. This is clear to everyone? Straightforward. I will show that. So again, you have to mention the row index only. For example, I want to remove the Dino record, right? So I'm going to use data table. I will mention my index 0. So I have 4 rows now, and in the 0th index, I have Dino rows, I mean Dino values. If I remove that, it will become some 3 rows, and it starts from because. Okay, so delete fine, update is fine, and find and replace. So data table again, that is the input parameter and find. I mean, you can do it in both ways. If you want to just find, you can find, or if you want to do the find and replace, you can do that also. Let's use find and replace. Find to text is Dino. I want to change with Dino G. Okay, and also you can mention this search by everywhere or any specific column. The specific column is 0, right? I mean, it's 0th index only. I'm having the student name. Okay. Let's check now. Now change it to the energy. So this is how the find and replace works. And also it will return where is that particular value in the data table. Okay. I think because you asked for the list, right? But we don't have any action item for list, but you can get that index in this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So the energy is some 0th row and the 0th column. That is what it is written. And if we are adding, if we have the multiple values, duplicate rows, we can delete them using the duplicate rows. Okay. But also maybe we will see that data table. We will see how it remove the duplicate rows because I added the twice now. Okay. And let's check the sort also. I want to sort the data table based on the total marks. Okay. So let's do that data table and let's use name itself. That is fine. Total marks. It will do the sorting of our data table. Let's verify our name, total marks correct. Looks good. Once it is sorted, I want to you know filter the data table. Okay. So we can use this data table and in the row you can mention total marks is greater than equal to 260. Okay. Not sure how many of them having 260 above. Let's verify that. Let's check that and we come to know after the situation. So, okay, now what we are going to see, we will see how it is removing from the duplicate. Okay. And also we are going to see how it is sorting and filter. Okay. Let's run this now. Don't match the column. Cancels. It is running. Okay, let's try to run one more time. Weird. It's okay. So replacement done. Delete duplicate rows, right? So here you can see, and we are having the image twice, right? So it will check for the duplication and it will remove it, and now it becomes a 4 rows. So remove. Rajeshwari, Neha, you have any queries? I thought someone is trying to say something. Okay, so we have 4 rows right now, and let's continue the flow. Now it is inserted with total marks, right? 274, 262, 259, and we are sorting. We are starting with the total marks. So it becomes 259, 262, 274. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks good. And if we are doing filtration, all having about 260. So these two, Neha and Vikas having above 260. So it should show these two rows. Okay. What it will show, it will show as a filtered data table. So you can see here, now it shows Neha and Vikas. It removed Dinu and Rajesh. Okay. Yes. Because Rajeshwari.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, finally we will look one more option, how to merge the data table. I think remaining we almost covered most of them. Uh, Now you can see we are having the filtered data table, right? Filtered data table. Or maybe we can keep this as in the actual data itself. We don't need to create it separately. Okay. So just imagine we are doing this for this math on everything for only one class. Okay. Assume we have multiple class in this scenario. We want to do this math and we want to filter out the students who all are having scored more than 260 above on all these three subjects. Okay. Now just you can assume this is a class A. Okay. Now if you want to do it in the class B and C, what we have to do, we have to create a kind of master data table. Okay, this is a master data table. Master data table. After we do the calculation, we want to merge with this data table. Okay. So I created this, but I'm not, adding any columns because I will take it from the filter table. Okay. So after that, I want to merge. Okay. Merge. You can see this data table merge with master table. If I mean there are different merging modes there. If we have any extra columns that will scale for error, okay. So for now this is fine. Add extra columns. Merge data table. Okay, we have to go in the reverse. Sorry. So we have to keep our master tables here and data table here. So which means merge data table values. I mean the toppers, right? Who scored about 260 merge with master data table. Okay. Now let's run the flow. So you can see here. So the master data table having two rows right now, Neha and Vikas. So similarly, we can keep this master table separately. We can add so many classes. Then finally, we have to merge with the master table. Okay, that is the ideology of having the master table and having the merge data table actions here. Okay. And if you want to clear the data table, you can just drag and drop. You can mention the data table. It will clear all the rows. That is straightforward again. And if you want to read the CSV file, right? Maybe we will cover this in the communication. But again, it's a quick glimpse. You can just drag and drop. You can give the CSV file. That's it. CSV text you can give, or maybe if you want to get it from the variable, that's also fine. It will convert into the data table. Okay. So this is the use case. Okay, daily sales report, cleanup and distribution. So I will give you a kind of CSV file that contains, the region and transaction date and product name and the unique price, etc. So with that CSV file, we have to read. Maybe I will show one additional action that will help you to do that. So how to read the value from CSV file? You just type CSV here. You can see here, read from CSV file. Okay. Then you can give the path. You can browse from your system, and I will share this sample sales report with everyone. Okay. You can take like this, and once you save, you have the data table with the CSV table. Okay. I will show you that also. If you run the flow, we have the CSV table. See here, this is how it look like. So column one is sales date, region, sales person, products, etc. Okay. So based on this CSV file, you have to do the math. Okay. For now, I stop this. You can add one more additional stuff here in the advanced. Just make sure you have enabled this. First line contains column names. Enable this so that the first line considered as header. Okay. I'll save this now, and I will run and show it again. Now all the first lines now shows as a table column. Okay, columns, sales date, region, etc. So from that you have to do the these operations. Remove the blank rows, remove the duplicate transactions, and you have to check uncalculated totals, and also do the sort. And finally, you have to send an email to, maybe you can mark it to me, like once this all operation is done, I want to see how your data table looks like. Okay, so this is the use case for this week. You do this practice offline and share me the code and output and screenshot of the final output in the email.
Okay.
Okay.